was in office, right? I'm talking about the president, when the curriculum was brought back to the states. Who was that? Or what party was that? Sorry.
It hasn't been brought back to the States.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm going to show you a source, right, that shows you that not only curriculum is back to the state since the 70s, but also 95 to 97% of funding comes from state and local taxes.
Oh yeah, I know that. I thought you meant what Trump is doing now currently.
Yeah, so he's trying to solve a problem that's already been, won. Education to the states is the reason why our education system sucks compared to the world. And on top of that, also, like, the Department of Education doesn't do what you guys says it does. And do you know what was also a state enacted policy? Do you remember No Child Left Behind?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That went directly from Bush to the governors. And they decided if they wanted to do it or not. You can go ahead, Felice. I saw your hand was up.
Oh, I was just going to say, I used to be a teacher, so I just want to, because it's important to know the difference, right? Education, like curriculum, what's taught, whatever you believe, teachers like myself convincing people, people to be trans inside classrooms. That's not happening, but you think it is.
I don't think that.
Well, no, but yeah, okay. Well, I've been accused of that by people that voted for Trump.
You said you're a grammar teacher.
Okay, you're correct. You're correct in that. You're
referring to me.
You're correct. Okay, you don't believe that. That's great to hear. But my point is, curriculum, what is taught in the classroom, is determined state by state. Curriculum is state by state. What the Department of Education does, and why it's important for all the three of us up here, is it's an attempt to create equity, right? Fairness, because the way that money is divided by, from public school to public.
Very good at
Wait,
that.
let me just finish really quick. Because I agree with you. When you said education system has failed a lot of people, I completely agree. And the reason, and I'm not saying it was perfect, but the Band-Aid was the federal Department of Education. The reason the education system is failing so many people and how we budget is, okay, at each public school, this is how many dollars we have per kid. Now, if you live in an affluent or wealthy neighborhood, it's funded by property taxes. So that's like, I'm in Arizona, I live in Phoenix, for instance. So that's why some of our schools look like airports, like where you could land a plane. And then in poor neighborhoods, the high schools, are ramshackle and falling over because it has to do with the property taxes of each house.
Sure.
So the Department of Education, right, it attempts to, through different types of federal grant programs, essentially create equity where there's lack of funding due to property taxes and other things, also when it comes to, kids needing IEPs, things like that. If they need a little extra time or a little extra help, providing that. It's to create equity.
Well, it's clear that system hasn't worked, and it seems like we're damned to change anything. We shouldn't change anything because of why. I don't understand the why.
So frenemies, so let me ask you a question. When Trump said, so I'm going to demonstrate to you that Trump's the one that's not trying to change anything. So if curriculum and funding for education is at the states, and Trump says he wants to give education to the states, is anything changing?
Yeah, they're not spending hundreds of billions of dollars on the Department of Education every year.
Yeah, but the Department of Education has nothing to do. In fact, let me go run this scenario by you, because this is something that we could do like in a few months, and our literacy rates would shoot up. Do you know why the 49 other countries
literacy rates work? But it's okay.
Yeah, so like, why don't you like not cut me off? Because I've been respectful to you so far. Not just that, but yeah, actually, I can show you with other countries that are ahead of us in education, because they all do the exact same thing. Actually. So with that being said, right, so they're all doing a centralized curriculum, unlike the United States, where Alabama learns one thing, Maryland learns one thing, New York the other thing, California the other thing, Washington the other thing. These other countries that are blowing us out of the water in education all have a centralized curriculum. And this is like with a 100% success rate, because they're all ahead of us, right? So wouldn't we just be better off having a centralized curriculum so we don't have this disparity between states, if you actually want to fix the problem?
I truly believe that we would, yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? Giving it to the states, which it's been that way, right? That doesn't help a thing. In fact, the opposite would help. Give an entity, hold on, let him plane. Give an entity like the Department of Education that has nothing to do with curriculum, give the ability to administer a centralized curriculum, so Alabama's not doing X, Maryland's not doing Y, Washington's not doing Z. And then we've just solved the problem right then and there.
Sure, yeah, but that's not what the Department of Education is aiming to do. So why are we giving them $200 billion a year to do who knows what?
Do you know what the Department of Education does?
I don't think anybody does.
Can I
oh
just
my.
But again, it's meant to create equity. It's federal grants to create equity, right? Provide extra money per child where the property taxes don't fill in those goals. When there's disabled children who need extra monies to be able to learn in environments that are tailored to their, they're differently abled. They're, provide IEPs for people on the autism spectrum. It is literally designed to create equity.
Okay,
correct.
So
that's all it does. And it has nothing to do with a curriculum, or I don't know if we should have a federal curriculum because look at what people like Trump would do with that. I don't even know if that's the right answer anymore.
There is no equity in this country in terms of education.
Okay, hold on. But can I just, let's go back to that. Listen, I want to go back to that. Again, I think the Department of Education is a Band-Aid to attempt to create equity, right? The way that the public education system is funded is by like an extension of Jim Crow, right? If wealthy neighborhoods have more, wait, hold on. That's why it's funded by property taxes.
Can you stop cutting her off?
It was an extension of Jim Crow. Let's keep poor people, which are disproportionately black and brown people, down. And let's make sure that the best education, the most funding is going to people in the wealthier neighborhoods. And we can get into how neighborhoods are segregated and all that. But it was an extension of Jim Crow. The Department of Education was a Band-Aid to try to supplement and create equity. But your answer to that is let's abolish it. But it's not, because I can tell you the actual solution the Conservative Party has come up with is school vouchers. Arizona, a state I'm from, we're one of the earliest adopters of school vouchers. We had school vouchers back when I was in high school and open enrollment in high schools. And I can tell you 97% of the school vouchers are not being used by black and brown kids or low income white children. They're being used by upper middle class children, right? And here's the thing about school vouchers. You could say, hey, everyone's getting, let's say, it depends on the state, but let's say it's $5,000 to $8,000, some sort of credit. And you could use it for any private school or any charter school you want. The problem is that you're not guaranteed enrollment. Doesn't matter how smart you are, how good you are at sports, right? There are documented cases I teach about on my show, The People's Receipts, where segregation schools are actually developing in the South. Because you could say everyone has this school voucher, but it doesn't cover all the tuition. And where are private schools? They're in rich neighborhoods. If you don't have there's no school bus system to get a kid to private school. So if you can't get a ride, if your parents can't pay for Ubers, if they can't pick you up, if you can't fund the rest of the tuition, you can't go. And that's assuming that school even offers you entrance, because any private school, any charter school can deny a child entrance. So I'm not saying our public education system is great and the Department of Education is perfect. I actually agree with you that it's broken, but the solution, the conservative solution is mathematically through statistical analysis. We know it's more broken.
I would just like to see something done. And we haven't seen something in, 50 years? And no administration wants to do anything. No Child Left Behind is, there we go. Let's do that. Come on, Bush, let's do it. And we see
he did that, though. Yeah, I was going to say, you said nobody did anything. He did that with a very negative result.
That's exactly what I'm getting.
You said nobody did anything in 50 years. You just quoted No Child Left Behind, which was an attempt, a piss poor attempt to improve the education system.
That's the point that I was making, Chris. Do you think you slam dunked me here?
Well, no, I'm just correcting what you're saying because you said nothing was done in 50 years. Lex, just keep going, man. It's not that big of a deal.
You just
keep going.
You cut me off with the point that I was literally making.
Well, just keep going.
That's weird.
Don't crash out. Just keep going.
Who's crashing out? Anyways, yeah. So
all fine. We can do some deep breathing.
$200 billion going to equitable programs when there is absolutely no equity in the education system today.
There's less now, but you're incorrect, and it's not. I don't know if was the Department of Education budget $200 billion. I don't even believe that's correct.
Yeah. So
I think
can you
you're
give us a
making
source
up
for that?
I think you might be making up a wild number, but I'm not even disputing that. I'm just saying I don't know what the budget was, and I don't know if it's $200 billion. So I was just curious if that was an actual number or you were just saying that number. My point was, though, we know that school vouchers don't work. We know that the people that we're trying to provide equity, right, in lower income areas who are disproportionately black and brown or disabled or differently abled or on the spectrum or like me, neurodivergent, all those things, we know that school vouchers do not assist in any way with that.
Okay, cool. So that is the mandatory funding and grants. That's what they gave out. So according to the Congressional Budget Office, fiscal year 2024, the Department of Education received $79.1 billion in discretionary appropriations. Yes,
you're right. That's the number of grants.
Yeah, so grants doesn't have anything to do with what the federal government. So the federal government, if we're going down to the appropriations, you go down to line F, just got you there. They were from the federal government. They were given a $79.1 billion in discretionary appropriation. That's what they were given for the year.
Okay, so $70 billion wasted. Got it.
Okay, but I mean, you said 200.
Again,
got
it's
it.
not
So
wasted.
Right.
It's not wasted. Okay. So again, I just want to be really clear that you're saying we know statistically.
Stop crashing out.
We know statistically that school vouchers do not work. If you're making the claim, wait, hold on. If you're making the claim, I know I care about poor.
One more time, I'm going to muzzle you.
And that's who we need to help. We know for a fact that school vouchers do not help those children.
Tap the screen, guys.
I never once advocated for
So I'm just saying, if you were saying, hey, we need to, well, I thought we were on the same page about creating equity. So what we need to do is do an impact study, statistical analysis, bring in real auditors, like inspector generals, and say, how do we streamline this program? How do we make it better? But what?
Yeah, we have time.
Yes.
To waste.
Yes. Okay. So again, I want to tell you, we know for sure that school vouchers, the answer that the conservative party Republicans have and say it's better to destroy the Department of Education, which was the only drop of equity in the public education system. We should destroy that. And we know statistically, mathematically, that school vouchers do not provide any equity to poor children. So you're basically saying the little amount of the equity there was, let's destroy it. We know school vouchers only help disproportionately 97% in Arizona go to upper middle class white children who are in private school anyways. We're just taking money now out of public schools. So it follows the child that's already not in public school anyway. And you're saying that's better. It is mathematically not better.
Never said that one time.
Okay, you did say it. You've said it three different ways.
Yeah, like I'm right here.
I never said the word voucher one time up here, Chris.
You said that it was good that we destroyed the Department of Education. That's the only drop of equity. We know that school vouchers are not being able to be used by poor children. It doesn't even cover the tuition, let alone the lunches, the breakfast, the rides to school. So you can't use that.
And I kind of find it fucking disgusting that somebody wants to get rid of disability accommodations for people too. I do find
IEP funding.
I kind of find that fucking disgusting, but whatever.
And IEP funding,
that's what happens when you get rid of the DOE, smart one.
Understand, IEPs or only that type of education that disabled children need are only available in public schools. Private schools don't have IEPs. They don't have the teachers that are qualified to provide that type of education. So those children can't leave. We're just taking funding outside of public schools where IEP education happens, and then they can't leave.
So the only way we can do IEPs is through the DOE, correct?
Yeah, private schools don't provide that type of education. Do you understand how long?
Going away with the Department of Education.
Nobody said,
You're
but if the DOE
defunding them, you don't understand what school vouchers do.
Gosh,
they
dude,
take money.
He's trying to get rid of disability.
I want to be as nice as possible. I don't think you understand what you're saying. You are taking what school vouchers are doing. What school vouchers do is it takes money out of public schools.
Tap the screen,
and it follows the child to a different school.
I never once said vouchers up here. I don't know why you're arguing vouchers with me.
That is the conservative solution
care about conservative.
That's Trump's solution.
That's
So you
Trump's
don't.
solution
Okay, no,
to
that's fine.
defunding- yeah,
He
you
just
have
said that
no
Trump's
idea
plan
what
sucks.
You're
Okay.
talking about like you
Okay,
don't understand what you're talking about.
I think we both agree that Trump's plan sucks. Thank you. Thank you. We both agree. Thank you. All right. So you've been up here for a while. Do you have anything else? Because I don't want to leave people in the box.
This is just weird.
Okay. Got it. Guys, please do me a favor, guys. Share the live and tap the screen because I really don't want to get taken down today. Razor, how old are you for TikTok terms and services?
25.
Okay, it's nice to meet you. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes.
Okay, well, you have the floor. Yeah, what is he doing to, what's it called, Make America Great Again?
Yeah. Okay. So, can I ask you? So you think because he's unfit to be president because he's a convicted felon, right?
You hold on, Razor. You
I'm asking you a point.
Okay, so hold on. I asked you to answer my question first, and secondly, first of all, I never said that.
That's what you all think.
Okay, so hey, Razor. So beautiful. I'm gonna blow your mind here. He's qualified to be president because he's above 35, right?
Yeah.
No, please answer my question. Okay, cool. That's one, right? So actually, I'm just going to use that one. Okay, he's qualified to be president. So your argument fell apart because you presupposed, right? So now I'm going to give you a chance to actually answer the question, or I'm just going to start asking you questions about what he's doing. Let's not come up here and gaslight. Your argument fell apart because you don't even know what the bare minimum qualifications to be president is. Now, please be respectful and answer the question that I asked you first, please. Thank you.
Okay. So why I voted for him?
Correct.
Because I care about America more than the global elite. So
Giving tax cuts to the global elite,
No.
even though we know, hold on. I'm responding to what you just said, right? Don't start panicking now. So we all know that Reagan, one of the worst presidents when it comes to economics ever, on his way out of office, he tried to say, trickle down economics, which does actually benefit the global elites, right? Is actually a thing. Giving tax cuts to these 1%, which these 1%ers starts at, 400 something thousand and then extends all the way up to the heavens. Right, giving them tax breaks to not give wages, to buy back corporate buybacks of their own stocks and all these other things. I'm not done, right? I'm going to let you respond. That benefits the global elite and not the average American citizen. So go ahead.
Okay, can you let me answer your question, please?
I didn't ask you a question. I gave you a refutation.
Saying the rest
You
of his
asked
answer
me
to the
why
first
I voted
question.
for
Yeah,
Trump, and I'm
he was
answering
saying he
that.
didn't finish.
Okay, go.
Trump puts America first, okay? Not China, not the UN, not Davos. Biden bows to foreign interests, okay? Trump fights for the working class. We all know this, okay?
That's mathematically untrue.
Okay, so okay, we're gonna stop every time you make a claim on because you're going to different points. So let's go ahead and use the big beautiful bill, right? To go, have you read it? It's your president's tax plan.
The big beautiful bill.
Yeah, that's the
Budget,
300.
the reconciliation bill that definitely is not fighting for the working class, and it's like what your statement is mathematically untrue.
Yeah, it's actually a soup sandwich. So let's see if he's actually fighting for us, right? So let's go ahead and go to page 11, right? And hold on a second here, right? So 4.5 million taxpayers, right? And since 2017, right, they were able to have, a $2,000 to $3,000 per filer in miscellaneous itemized deductions. With this big, you can sigh, but I'm asking you a question about the bill. You may. Okay, cool. So I know you're gonna start whining because this hurts, right? Trump permanently. That's okay. I got you. So you can't listen when you're speaking at the same time. I got you. So now, right? In this page 9, section 11001, he's taking all this away permanently. Right? So now their permanent removal means higher taxable income to be at the mercy of these people. So why did he take away the average American citizen ability to have $2,000 to $3,000 of itemized deductions? Let's go ahead and start there. This is a long bill.
Because it puts America first. Oh my God.
How? Tell me how.
You got to understand that.
Okay, let me tell you what the bill does.
No. Razor.
You very clearly don't know because you're mathematically,
And you didn't-
statistically incorrect about what the bill does. It transfers wealth from the middle class to the top of the economy. That's what it mathematically does. So
Yeah.
to say, if you believe the reconciliation bill in any way is fighting for the middle class, then you haven't read it.
Yeah, and plus, Razor, I'm addressing every part of the bill because I actually read these things. In fact, I'm looking at the physical. Don't unmute. So, page 9, we're going to all the parts of the bill that only applies to the non-5%. There's a reason why I'm going to page 9, page 11 through 13, page 27, right? Okay, so how is it good for the American citizen by permanently getting rid of $2,000 to $3,000 of itemized deductions that they were allowed to use? If you do not answer this question, I will swap you out with somebody else.
Don't. It's fine. Don't. It's fine. Let him.
Well, no, because this dude's over here beating around the
Well,
bush.
listen, and it's
No,
not.
please, can you let me answer? Oh my God.
Yeah, let him. Go ahead.
Okay, but it better be
We're
what I
fine.
asked you.
We're fine. It's fine.
Okay, I like you. Thank you. Because it empowers workers. Okay.
Okay, how? By getting rid of miscellaneous
well, just
itemized.
let
Cutting
him
taxes
answer.
on tips and overtime is a genius move.
Okay.
That's
well-
not what I asked
No,
you,
wait.
though.
Can I just tie this together?
I'm going to bear him on that, too.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
no, I know. So just to be clear, because I want to make sure we acknowledge, I don't think you even understood the question Chris asked because you did not answer it, nor did you demonstrate an understanding of it. So in the answer to Chris's question is that, no, that doesn't benefit any average American person, right? Like, and that's the truth. But I do want to just say this, and I went through this yesterday in my live. This is from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, right? And they're quoting the Yale Budget Lab, if anyone's wondering where I'm getting these numbers. Because the real, right? Because I also did a deep dive into the no tax on tips and also into the no tax on overtime because I wanted to just really understand who that affected and if it would be benefiting the average American, which there's a more complicated answer, but I'm just going to say this. This analysis I'm now reading from, because the real story is you have to factor in the reconciliation bill, the big, beautiful bill, right? The budget, but then also the tariffs, because in order to pay, so billionaires and corporations don't pay taxes. Every time we transact, every time we buy something, we're paying their taxes. And then in addition, the harm of the executive actions that are going to damage us financially as the average. I don't even want to say middle class. I'll just say there's rich people now and there's us. So and I'll send you this article in a second, Chris. But again, so
Yeah.
this is, when you factor in all those three things, and this includes the no tax on tips, the no tax on overtime's right, and this, now we're averaging out households. If you were in the bottom 20 percentile of income earners in the United States, the bottom 20%, you lose $2,270 per household on average. And again, that's under this next. It includes the 10-year budget, tariffs, and Trump's executive actions, all the moves he's made so far. If you're in the next 20 percentile after that up, you will lose $1,720 on average a year per household. If you're in the middle 20 percentile, you'll lose $1,610 on average per household. If you're in the 20th percent, you'll lose $1,410. Now, if you're in the top 20%, you'll make $250. And here's where the money really starts to roll on it. And guess who it is? Top 1%, average gain per year per household, $25,500.
Damn, that
So
sucks.
it's just mathematically incorrect that Trump is fighting for anybody, the average American. If you're rich, if you're like, oh, I'm super rich, then I get it.
All right, so yeah, we're going to go directly to this no tax on tips first.
I'll send you this article, Chris, right now.
Thanks.
if you wanna post it.
All right, so no tax on tips is absolutely bogus because I can tell you didn't read this. It's okay, we're going to go ahead and do it, right? So it's only for traditionally and customarily received tips, and there's no comprehensive list or clear criteria for what this actually encompasses. And this is why this is bad, because the United States has a history, right, of doing things, because it's for both W-2 and 1099 workers. They have to self-report their tips via Form 4317, right? The U.S. has a history of abusing this system because guess what can't look at it? The employer and the IRS. So we have a history of people overstating their amount of tips and income and things like that, and it's going to continue. If President Trump put a regulation on this, then maybe I would have given him a W, but now we just have more corruption. So can you tell me why there's no regulation for people to self-report here?
Oh my God.
No, I'm gonna. That's not.
How do you pronounce your name on above me?
My name. Okay, hold on.
My name's Felice.
Felice. Okay.
I asked you a question. Hold on. This is my live. I asked you a question about the no tax on tips that you brought up.
First, listen. Okay.
Okay, I got you, buddy. I'm not doing that today. Got it.
Let's keep tapping the screen. We're almost to 50K. Let's get Chris to 100K. Sorry, I just think like the average person probably is not going to understand like when you talk about tax deductions and things. I just think like what might be happening is they don't understand what you're talking about. That's why I found that Yale budget analysis that just kind of set like when you factor in every action Trump's taken, we're all losing money unless you're in the 1%. Like,
Oh yeah. Are you talking about the Yale budget labs?
Yeah, I sent you,
Okay.
I sent you, and it has the like graphs if you want to screenshot them, because I just think like when we get into the actual tax law and stuff, I don't think people fully understand. But, I also have a good no tax on tips article and one on no tax on overtime. The reality is, yeah, I'll send them to you because they actually itemize it out really, really well. And just show like the no tax on overtime, what will actually happen, because it's human behavior, right? Once there's certain loopholes that can be exploited, it's fascinating to look. When you look, only 13 million people are going to be eligible in this country for no tax on overtime. And those people are going to be disproportionately high skilled, high earners that are able to exploit tax loopholes and change the way their hours are structured. And it's pretty sad. Like it's not what you think.
You want to debate a Maple MAGA?
Wait, what does that mean?
Maple MAGA is somebody that's from Canada that really loves.
Yeah, like I'm not one of those people that's like you have to be from America. I understand. Like I've lived in different countries. Like American politics affects everyone. So yeah, sure.
All right, cool. Hello, what's up?
Hey man, just want to say why Trump is good today.
How old are you?
19.
Okay, what's going on?
Yeah, so I think his abortion stance is good.
Based on what parameters? Like, are you doing this from a religiously moral argument? Are you doing this like, here's the thing, what's good for me may not be good for you, what's good for Felice may not be good for me, right? So, for like example, the way that we need to actually frame this is like, so the mustache man thought that getting rid of 6 million Jewish people was great, but I don't think that's great. So what do you base this on? Like, what are you basing it on?
Well, I'm basing it on rationale and reason. So if we're going to treat all human beings the same with equal rights, we should treat the infants as well.
So,
I agree. Hold on. I 100% agree.
I'll let you take this one. I'm going to grab some coffee.
No, I do agree with you on infants, right? But the real argument, if you want to base it on rationale and reason, it's about bodily autonomy, right?
F no.
Well, it is.
No. What it actually is right.
Listen, then what you're saying is that this is not about rationale and reason, and you don't understand logic. Because again, if we all enjoy bodily autonomy, which I do grant to infants, right? Anybody who can survive without taking other people's resources enjoys bodily autonomy. I grant everyone bodily autonomy.
Right. So I'm going to show how your view is inconsistent. So, for example, we're going to force people to take the vaccine because obviously we want people
Okay, nobody was ever forced to take a vaccine.
You would still want
So
to have people be forced to do that.
again, I just want to be clear. Again, I don't think anyone should be forced to take a vaccine.
They literally were about to lose their jobs.
Let me help you. Hold on. A job isn't a right. You're confused. Your logic is already inconsistent. Let me speak.
Working is a right.
Eli. It doesn't, working is not a right. You're absolutely wrong. Nobody was forced to take a vaccine. Now, to be in a public space where a corporation is now liable for the health and safety of others, you may have to be vaccinated to be in that space. And then it is your right. Well, no, these are facts. This is an example. These are facts. This is about liability
steal, but I
now.
can go
So
to
if
jail.
nobody has ever been forced to take a vaccine,
They
for
literally
instance,
were
let me give you an
like,
example with the military. If you don't want to be vaccinated, and it's much larger than just COVID vaccines, there's so many vaccines they shove into people in the military. You have the choice to just not be in the military.
But that's not a choice, is it? That's like saying
No, it
Yes,
absolutely,
it
by
is.
definition
You
is
don't have to go to
by
prison, just
definition,
don't rob a
Eli,
bank.
it's a
But if you have
choice.
to rob a bank in order to keep food,
Eli, I know
Eli, stop talking.
I'm fine. I know
Yeah.
you think you're doing something, but you're logically
you're
inconsistent.
Kinda gotcha. You're kind in a
Okay, so I'm going to.
Eli, you're having an embarrassing moment where I think you're confused about what words mean.
So.
Nobody has to be vaccinated. I support that right. Nobody has to have anything done. Bodily autonomy means I get to make every individual, the three of us up here, I'm in control of my body. I get to make decisions about this vessel without fear of violence or coercion. That's what bodily autonomy is. If I apply for a job and they say, hey, you need this vaccination and I don't want it, it is my right then to leave.
Perfect. So you can murder the child, but you will go to jail. That's the
Can you stop saying that word? You're trying to get me taken down
Yeah, well,
intentionally.
Yeah,
You
Eli,
can
you're,
unallow
you're
it. But you go to
demonstrating that you don't have any actual logic
No,
or
you're
reason.
kind of you're this is embarrassing for you.
Okay, someone up here is embarrassing, yes.
You
Yeah, that would be the dude from Canada.
Unalive the child,
Someone up
but you
here
will
is
go to jail.
humiliating themselves.
That's the same with the job. That's the same with the job example you gave.
Eli, you trying to bend reality and say I'm embarrassing doesn't make
it is.
your argument any less embarrassing.
So like if
you
the
have
person
not
gets a vaccination.
even let me just help you.
there's
I
nothing
grant baby infant
Mark Carney won, by the
bodily
way.
autonomy.
Yeah, a bad choice.
Mark Carney won. Anyway, keep going.
You wanted Polyev to win?
I don't
Too
want
bad.
How
either of them to win. I
embarrassing,
want the
Eli.
POC to- I don't
Just
even like
strike
Pierre.
2 for Eli.
I don't even like Pierre.
Oh shit!
I don't even like Pierre or Mark.
Oh,
or the
man.
I don't
POV
like
to win.
Mark Carney either. I'm not really into
POC.
finance bros.
Yeah, you're a snake. So yeah,
Oh, whoa! Okay, Eli, stay on mute while I say. I got this
Eli,
panel
you're
up
very
here.
emotional. You're becoming hysterical. Please calm down.
Yeah. So one rule of my panel here, right? We don't disrespect women up here. I know you admire somebody that raped a woman and cheated on as wives, and especially with each other. But no disrespect, right? Why don't you put this energy towards the claims that you're not addressing? Now you can proceed, but don't do that.
okay. So I do want to just press a little bit more on this. So just please don't interrupt me. So yes, it is technically a choice. You can take the vaccine or you don't, but you will lose the job. In the same way, someone can unalive the child in the womb, but you will go to prison. So yeah, still a choice. Is that really the claim you're about to make?
Can
here, that
I
it's a
can I
choice? It's
point
not a
out the
choice.
faulty logic?
There's no faulty logic.
Yeah, there is.
but go
Because,
ahead.
well, first of all, you have no idea even what logic is. If you think you just
I do.
followed a line of logic, that's your problem. But let
I've
me
read
help you.
Aristotle.
Let me
I've
help
read
you.
Aristotle.
Let me help you, right? The reason AB laws were set up and Roe v. Wade was set up where they were it's around the average time that a baby can live outside the womb without taking a mother's resources, right? You're saying, and hold on,
You
anything,
literally-
listen, can I finish speaking, Eli? So you can learn something instead of continuing to
I'm not
embarrass
gonna
yourself?
learn anything from you.
Well, you can stay completely ignorant. That is an option that you have to continue
so-
to embarrass
so if
yourself.
a man is-
Okay, Eli, you're not talking. It's my turn to speak and finish a thought. Can you mute Eli because he's incapable of?
And Eli, stop unmuting. Here's the thing, right? You've been throwing. If you unmute one more. Okay, go.
So again, this is a bodily autonomy argument, right? You're basically saying if I have a tumor that blood is flowing through it, that it's an individual human being. No, it's not, right? Whenever a baby can live without my resources, right? Then it has bodily autonomy. And I grant fetuses bodily autonomy once they are not part of my body and living off my resources. It's the same thing. If I'm driving down the street and we get in a car accident, you hit me, I can't be forced to, let's say you are mortally wounded. It's my fault. Do I have to keep you alive with my resources? No. I have to consent, right? If you need a blood transfusion to survive, I have to consent to that. Nobody can take my bodily autonomy, my resources without consent. That is what bodily autonomy is about, is consent.
But you can. So, for example, when
No, you cannot.
kid comes out of the womb,
Can you give me a law? Hold on,
You
Eli,
cannot.
Eli. Can you
have
give
to
me
support the child.
Hey, Eli. Can you give me? Okay, so host is I'm letting you guys chop it up, and you're being very cool. Let's start using laws and regulations because I don't know what the hell you guys do in Canada, but we try our best to follow. Can you give me a law that supports the statement that you just said?
so in Canada, abortion is not.
I'm not. I'm asking you about the. No. So you're talking about the United States. You use my law. Fuck Canada. So
But this
go
is
ahead.
not about a law. Bodily
What are you
autonomy.
talking about? I don't. What doesn't matter what the law is what's moral.
Okay, so hold on.
Actually, it's not. That's
This dude's a clown, bro.
So you just collapsed your own argument. This has nothing to do with your morality, Eli. Which again, Eli, you have a right to your feelings,
Right.
which seem to be based in your own morality. I don't acknowledge morality at all. I don't care. I don't believe things are good, bad, moral, or amoral. I think laws are utilitarian. They're useful or they're not.
Thing I've ever heard in my life. Everyone
Okay.
who has a brain thinks utilitarianism is completely cracked.
Eli, you sound embarrassing. I
Right.
don't know how else to help you. But anyways, so your own morality,
destroyed.
again,
Stop.
again, Eli, your own morality.
You made a subjective claim. You're
Yeah,
getting
your
buried.
own morality
Yeah.
is your own business, but you
Right.
can't bring it into this argument.
Right, can you you brought in zero? So you're doing an internal critique of my country, but yet you're bringing in zero laws to juxtapose the claim. Stop bringing in your morality.
We're not talking about laws, though. We're
Yeah.
talking about logic.
Yeah.
It's not about what you personally believe is moral or not moral. Bodily
is.
autonomy is not. No, those are your feelings, though, Eli. I'm trying to help you understand the difference between your feelings. Your feelings
Most
are valid.
people- most
Eli,
people-
you can feel however you want to feel. It
Right.
has nothing to do with my bodily autonomy.
But you can say your bodily autonomy is irrelevant in this instance. Because
No, it's not.
according to
It doesn't
what?
supersede the right
Eli,
level.
According
you
to
need
what?
to say,
The right to
I
life
feel
According
like.
to what?
I say, I feel like.
They
That's
already
Right.
gave
every
examples.
statement that you have made is based on your feelings. You're having a lot of feelings today, Eli.
I destroyed your point by giving you.
Okay, so
Eli, you feel like.
and you keep saying all these wrong things. We have a volunteer.
Every single thing he has said
Yeah.
is
First of all, I find it-
factually, logically inconsistent.
We haven't had a draft since Vietnam, and we have a volunteer military according to the 10 USC code. I voluntarily decided to go do that, even anecdotal experience, which is weak. But no, according to the 10 USC, that wouldn't be a bodily autonomy claim anyway because you volunteered to go do that. I don't know what they do up in Canada, but we're volunteer military. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, great. But in a lot of other places, you are forced to go into the military.
Yeah, but we're talking about the United States. We're not talking about other places.
In the 40s, and during World War, you were forced to go.
When's the last time that we had a draft?
Yeah, not in a long time.
No. Answer my
Hold
question.
on, Vietnam.
I just
Some
answered.
people were forced to go, not Captain Bone Spurs, your
vaccines
Lord and
and a lot of
Savior.
which-
Not Captain Bone Spurs. He just hid. But
So-
listen. Yeah, I mean, drafts.
This
I don't
dude's a
know
clown,
what the
bro.
argument you're trying to make is. I don't really agree with drafts, like conscription, but I also think if drafts should be either both genders or they shouldn't exist. But I'm not sure what that has to do with what we're talking about.
Right, we're in a volunteer military right now. But Eli, it's not been fun, but I'm gonna let you go because I have other people.
Yeah, that was kind of pointless.
Yeah, guys, do me a favor, guys. He said a lot of words that will probably get me flagged. So can we get up to 75K really fast? Take a little bit of commercial
Oh,
break.
yeah, sorry. That's my job. Tap the screen.
Guys, also, I'm hosting. maybe I'll make a post or a story about it. I'm hosting a formal debate here Saturday at noon. It's going to be between Covey, you guys know her as Athena, and Simple Black Theory. I call him Oh Haji because that's his name. So they're both going to debate if communism would be the solution for the Black liberation movement. Oh Haji says no. Athena says yes. We're gonna sit back and watch them go at it for an hour.
That's awesome. That's a good debate.
Yeah, it's going to be. I told them both in the group chat. I'm like, this is going to be a Barack Obama versus Mitt Romney level debate. By the way, they had some good debates though. That was good. That's the last time a debate was even. Last time. They were both so respectful to each other too. Yeah, it was great. Somebody said Eli's logic should be a felony. Tap the screen, guys. Share the live, please. See, guys. So Felice is my sister. I'm learning. I'm learning controlled aggression here, guys. I'm a lot better than the first time. So. And whoever's Pete Hex says signal chat, that made my day. That's your username. I love that. Please continue to. Actually, do I follow you? Do I follow you?
I
do now.
Dipchit. I think I know who that is.
Homeboy said Hex that signal chat. I don't know how the hell he's not out of his position yet, but he's a loyalist. Tap the
That
screen.
you, Billy?
Nah, man. Got to hit the DUI higher signal chat with that Vala. Somebody said I'm revealing Area 51 documents next week. Tap the screen, guys. Let's get up to 100K, guys, and do fill up the gift goal.
Anything to distract from the fact Trump's not going to release the Epstein files for some weird reason called guilt by association.
You should totally watch that.
Did you see the Maria Bartiromo did like an interview with Dan Bongino, who was, and Kash Patel, who were only Democrats are in the Epstein files, and that's why they won't release them. Like, that's what's going on. And then all of a sudden on Sunday, they're on Maria Bartiromo's show being like, oh, there's nothing in there. It's no big, we don't need to see those. It's like, yeah, you guys were the people that desperately needed to see them the most. Sorry.
Also, I'll send you this video, but Christy, in case you haven't seen, Christy Noem was asked what habeas corpus was in court, and she couldn't give the definition.
In Congress, under oath.
Yeah, but she was asked like what it meant.
Yeah.
She couldn't. Yeah. Andrew, how old are you?
20.
Okay. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me what time it is right now?
The time for you to go fuck yourself.
Okay, got it.
He doesn't have to leave. Like, could he just say something? Let him say something.
Okay, well, shit. Tell him to go. Oh, okay, he sounded like he was from the Balkans, but you can come back up. I don't know
Did
what. Yeah, I don't know because I asked him what time it is because I can tell he's from a far time zone. Andrew, come back up, but that will get my live taken down. So can we ease up on the ad homs? Because I was just asking you a question. Come back up, Andrew. Did he win? This is crazy. Jeez, man. I didn't even say nothing bad to you. I was just asking you what time it was. He said, time for you to go F yourself. Okay, here we go. Okay, Andrew, I'm going to let you back up. Okay, Andrew, let's just take it one step at a time here. Do you live in the United States?
Arkansas. Gravette, Arkansas.
Okay, what time is it right now?
2:59 p.m.
Okay, cool. So, you voted for Trump?
Of course I did.
All right, how is he making America great again?
He is bringing us all together, especially the Serbs.
Okay, so when it comes, okay, let's start with bringing us all together, and then we'll talk about the history of that part. You know, in that area of Eastern Europe, right? How is he? Can you demonstrate how he's bringing Americans together, like through policy or executive order or things like that?
Sure. I think today he signed a bill which I think made it illegal for the distribution of deepfakes. I think that's pretty good.
Okay, so you're talking about
He signed a bill or an executive order?
I think that was a bill.
No, it just got signed as a bill today. It wasn't an executive order.
Yeah, okay.
So can I ask you a question about that, Andrew? Because I'm very curious now. So
Yeah.
he continues, the president, because do you agree that the president shouldn't abuse his power?
I disagree.
You disagree. Okay, well, our laws disagree with your disagreement.
Well, in fucking Serbia,
So
different
Andrew,
case.
Not
okay,
talking about Serbia. This
so-
conversation's not
I
about
love Serbia.
so Andrew,
Well, we can tell that by the flag. We
Yeah,
got
so,
that.
Andrew,
That's
don't worry.
implied.
we're going to talk about Serbia in just a second, right? But how come Donald Trump, because, I mean, I follow him on True Social, and he does this a lot, even when the executive order before it became a law. How is Trump able to continue to use deepfakes via Gaza video and, like, that very disrespectful Martin Luther King video? Because
When he's referring to-
can I finish? Because I'm going to let you respond, right? So both of those, and there's more examples, but those are the bigger examples that got, like, millions of views. That deepfake AI that just got got signed as a bill was an executive order at the time. How come he's able to abuse deepfake to go deceive the public, but the U.S. citizens aren't? That's abusing power.
Well, first of all, the bill was a ban on pornography. Pornography AI made shit.
What's the name of the bill? Is it the Take Down? What
Take
is
It Down
called?
Act.
Yeah, Take It Down Act. Okay, thank you. Sorry,
So
I'm
you
just,
want-
I'm just looking. I just looking up the
What did you want to
details.
talk about? Serbia, the greatest nation on earth.
No, I
Oh,
kind of want to talk about where I
here
live at.
wants to talk about Serbia.
I kind of want to talk about where I live at right now, to be honest. So it's not just okay. Watch this. It's not just
Yeah, it's-
pornography. It's actually any deepfake image abuse. So it's not just that category. There's an emphasis on it. So even according to they actually had a press release talking more about it. Senator Ted Cruz actually praised the fact. Right, that big tech will no longer be allowed to turn a blind eye. So, going back to the base question that I asked you, why is Trump allowed to use deepfake to go deceive people, but now he's taking that ability from everybody else? It's kind of crazy. Andrew, you there, boss?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't hear what you said because my mother came in.
Okay, no problem. So S-146, right? And also we have a preponderance of Republicans talking about the provision of the bill as well. It does cover pornography, but it also covers just general abuse of deepfake imaging as well. And even Senator Ted Cruz said he's looking forward to big tech not abusing it for people within the system. So why?
It's also the suppression of lawful speech. Yeah, I mean, you're essentially suppressing a lot of First Amendment rights.
Yeah, so why is Trump continuing to use deepfake even though he restricted the citizens' ability to do so?
I don't think he will.
He is right now. I'm
Really?
actually. Yeah, so Andrew, check this out. When it was still an executive
All the
order,
time.
he used it for, so one, actually he recently used it because for the Pope thing, but also when it was an executive order, right, he used it for that Martin Luther King video, which is incredibly disrespectful, and that Gaza video, and when he was joking about making himself the Pope, right? So yeah, that's 3 examples right there.
Well, I gotta admit that Trump is pretty corrupt. I mean, he's not perfect, but
I never said he was. I just want you to address what I said. Nobody's perfect.
I don't think he's a good person either. I mean, he posted a picture of himself acting as the Pope, I think, and I'm very
That's
religious.
deep fake. That's deep
I
fake,
know,
by the way.
I know.
Okay.
But I don't
Posts
necessarily
AI
associate with
deepfakes
him.
constantly of himself, so it's strange.
I agree with you.
Okay, so going back to the base question, now that we framed it, why, even with this bill in place, why is he able to use deepfakes to deceive people, right? But he restricted the citizens' ability to do so.
I'm not sure. I couldn't give you an answer.
Okay, I mean, you can take the next point.
The
where,
bill is like, I mean, in general, it could be good. Let's say, there's someone request an actual victim, asked to have something taken down. It could be within 48 hours. It should be, or allegedly in this bill. That could be a good thing. But then,
Yeah.
right, it has a chilling effect. I'm just reading, like, the fear of it's very broad, could lead to individuals to self-censor, to avoid sharing or posting certain content that might be misinterpreted or flagged as potentially harmful. Like, I think a lot of this is Trump, so he can request things be taken off social media. I mean, this is my thought. This is what Trump said was wrong and accused the Democrats of doing. Remember the Twitter hearings? And then what came out in the Twitter congressional hearings
The Democrats
was the
are
only.
corrupt.
Well,
They're
wait, hold
corrupt.
on. But like the First Amendment is the government suppressing speech. So I need to be clear about that. And Trump said that the government, that Joe Biden was suppressing speech. But when the Twitter hearings happened, what we learned was that someone had called him, Chrissy Teigen called him a pussy ass bee, and he tried to force Twitter to take it down.
But Elon owns Twitter.
Now,
Okay,
but they
yeah.
didn't. Jack Dorsey did when this happened during the Twitter hearings. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
No.
Okay, so again, this is the government chilling free speech. That's my fear, right? Like that we are actually chilling free speech. But I do think, I mean, if it's just very vague. We're basically
Yeah.
like anyone can request anything be taken off the internet, and then
Chris.
it's taken down.
Chris,
What?
listen.
Can you not ignore what Felice said? Like, can you respond to
I
that?
couldn't
It's fine. It's
speak on
fine.
that. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously.
it's fine.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool. What's going on?
So, I wanted to ask you a question. I moved to the United States with my family in 2017 from
Congratulations.
Serbia,
Congratulations. Yeah.
and the reason we moved over to the United States was because the U.S. had a lot of good opportunities. That's why.
Okay, that's what a lot of people do. We have a
Under
term
the
for
Trump administration.
it's called okay, cool. So let me get this straight. He rode the curtails of Barack Obama's economy, right?
No, he didn't.
Okay, so you made a statement. Can I make a rebuttal? Like, I know this next part's going to sting a little bit.
I'm a
'cause I'm gonna
citizen.
So, Andrew, if you ask me, so if you made a statement and not going to let me respond, what's the point of it, right? You can refute what I say, right, with facts as well, but I would like a chance to respond to my own panel.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So he rode the curtails of President Barack Obama's economy and took credit for it, right? Starting with the following metrics, there was already 16 consecutive quarters of GDP growth going in, right? The average household income was already like already plus what was it, plus 3,500 going in, right? We like already had a major manufacturing boost going in, and also unemployment plummeted way down from when Obama first came in, and had to deal with the 10% unemployment from the crash. So when you came, actually 2017 is a perfect year for you to come in because
agree.
it was his first year of presidency, which, by the way, he's had that year he benefited from a lot of Obama's pre-existing policies. The first policy that he actually passed that was of his that impacted the economy to any degree was a year after you came, 2018 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So yeah, you came at a year where all of his policies were making a great economy by all statistical measures and given to Trump. Trump never met any of his last 3 years of job growth or anything like that.
I disagree.
Okay.
So,
Based on what?
on the facts and the statistics.
Can I get some facts and statistics?
Yeah, sure,
Because
sure.
I just quoted like a bunch and you just chose
So
to.
an hour ago, I googled the GDP growth of the United States, and I
Okay.
checked that from 2009 until 2016
Okay.
rate, the GDP was growing on an average of 500 billion a year. As soon as
Okay.
it hit 2017, it started to grow by 800 billion, and then the year after, a trillion, I think.
Awesome. So can I ask you a question? What did Trump do? And I'm going to hold you to this,
That
right?
has to do with rates. That you don't talk about it in numbers. You talk about it like in percentages. You understand? We should be talking
Yeah.
about rates. Nothing you said means anything.
Yeah, no,
of
it's
course,
fine.
growth compounds upon itself.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because if you saw
Like that doesn't make any sense.
Obama's best economies were in his second term because he had to do everything in the first term, like the automotive bailout and things like that, right? He didn't tank the economy. He came in 1 year after the housing crash started. So now I'm going to ask you, what piece of legislature did Donald Trump influence to get passed in 2017? Because we all know he had one of the most underproductive, terms ever when it came to laws, even with the supermajority. Can you tell me a law that he passed in 2017 that helped contribute to the result that you just said?
Does the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act count?
No, because it had a negative effect on the economy, and I'm going to actually go ahead and
But it
demonstrate.
grew-
So, no, okay, Andrew, you just asked me a question again, and I can't even give you the stats, right? Okay, so with that being said, number one, right, it increased what was called income and wealth inequality. You don't want that in the economy. Number one. Number two, it cost 1.9 trillion, and every single year it only contributed about 28 billion to like revenue maybe, and it had a pretty bad effect on the American.
pretty good.
That's not that means 99% of it didn't pay itself back. That's terrible. That's all deficit spending. And then the last thing I'm going to say before I let you respond, it repealed what was called Section 199. A lot of our manufacturing is in the American Midwest. president, they no longer had the ability, right, to write off 20% deductions for doing things like hiring people and like building PP&E and reinvesting in their businesses. So no, I cannot say that was good.
I looked up the annual growth rates, right? Like, George W. 2001 to 2008, average annual growth rate 2.4. Obama 2009 217 2.3. Trump 2017 to 2021 2.3. Biden 2021 to 2025 3.2.
But that was job recovery.
No, this is the average rate of growth of the GDP.
Biden, fuck him.
Listen,
He bombed my
hey,
country.
let me just make.
Can you
something-
don't say that,
Let me
please?
just make something clear to you. So you were wrong about the rates of GDP growth. If you want
Grab
to
another
look
cup.
at rate of GDP growth, then yes, Joe Biden, he did the best for our economy. But
He
I also
bombed my
wait, hold
country.
on. I'm not finished. And again, that's neither here nor there. That's a complicated, foreign policy is a complicated thing in America. Generally, I want to reduce the size of the military. But that's like saying, okay, Trump, carpet bombed Syria. So what? So should they all no longer like him? That's whatever. We're talking about, hold on. I'm not done. Stop derailing the conversation. Not done. Stop derailing the conversation. Don't bring up your own country. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the economy here, right? What we know is that Trump is hopefully greater than the amount we spend. Trump added 8.4 trillion to the debt and blew out the deficit, third most in modern history. Then Biden, right, who was also working through a pandemic, recovered the best in the G7 from the pandemic and made our deficit smaller. Trump is again set to blow out. No, listen, you can't argue math.
You're a communist.
Let me help
Andrew, stop.
Andrew, Joe Biden lowered the deficit. He made it smaller. I'm sorry that you don't like that and you don't understand how the economy was managed during Joe Biden's 4 years, but that is a fact. Joe Biden made the deficit smaller. Trump blew it out, the third most in history. He is on track now, right? And it's debatable. The low end is 3.3. The high end is 5.5. That's how much he is going to increase the deficit over the next 10 years with the reconciliation bill that is about to be moved through the Senate.
Damn.
It is almost double the damage he did the first time.
Can I ask you a question?
No, you cannot ask me a question. You can respond to the facts I just gave you.
Sure, I'll respond.
My point is, if you care about who managed the economy effectively, then you support Joe Biden and you do not support Donald Trump. And then we can get into wealth inequality and how just because we have the number one GDP, that doesn't mean the average America is benefiting from that. Wealth is being transferred to the top of the economy.
Also, quick question, Andrew. Can you define communism for me?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
So, first of all, communism is the political and economic system where all private property is abolished and there is a classless society and the means of production are controlled by the state, the government.
Oh,
Okay,
that's so wrong. God, what?
I'm going to go ahead. So we're going to get right back to the conversation, but I just want to prove to him that if you live in any government, you don't have communism, because the most basic definition coming from the Communist Manifesto is a stateless, classless, moneyless society. So if you have any of those, do we have money in the United States?
No, I'm saying Felice is a
Hey, Andrew, you're talking.
We do.
Okay.
I'm a communist because I understand economics and numbers, and you
Okay.
don't.
Well, let's just get back to the
I'm a
convo, yeah.
communist because Trump mismanaged the U.S. budget.
No.
I'm a communist because Joe Biden grew the GDP at a faster rate. That makes me a communist for understanding how a capitalist economy functions. And you
Damn.
don't. You're saying I'm a communist because I can do math?
I take that back.
Yeah, okay.
I take it back. I take it back.
Thank you. So I don't know what we're talking about economy. Can you respond to what she said, please?
Sure. So, from my knowledge, when you pass a tax bill lasts for 8 years, right?
Correct.
Wrong.
Okay. Well,
10? It's
Oh
10.
yeah,
It's 10.
either.
It's
oh,
not 8.
okay. I thought
It's
it was,
10.
but
And
either.
that's,
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, either
Isn't
way,
it?
8 or 10 years.
it's 10. The budget is 10 years.
How did the deficit?
Budget is 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. But how did the deficit reduce? How did it get smaller during the Biden administration?
I can actually. Sorry,
Well,
go ahead. Yeah.
you don't understand what the deficit is, right?
I
Trump.
do. I do get it. I know what the deficit is.
Okay, then you're wrong. What do you mean? All
I'm
that
just
you have
asking
to
a
do is
question.
to, let me help you. The only thing you have to do to make the deficit smaller is bring in more revenue.
But how
than
can you do that
spend.
with Trump's
Andrew.
tax cuts?
What do you mean? He
Trump-
renegotiated pharmaceutical many different
Yeah.
ways. All you have to do is change the amount of revenue coming in versus going out. Any
Yeah, it's called-
president can change the deficit.
Yeah, so Andrew, let me ask you a question. Can you tell me what a tax is? Because this is a very simple example. Can you tell me
Sure.
what a tax? What is a tax? Actually, I'm going to get more specific.
Sure.
What is a tax meant to be used for by the government?
It's the tax is revenue collection.
Ah, correct. Okay, so that's one way, and then we have other way, like she just said, right? Renegotiate pharmaceutical deals, trade deals, right? Actually, under the Biden administration, I'm going to give you an example. We ended up in a trade surplus with people like the United Kingdom. That's a way to actually shrink the deficit. Things like that, make more money, things like that, because R minus C equals P.
But what about Ronald Reagan?
Ronald Reagan, he 3x the deficit. He came in 991 billion, left with 3.1 trillion, and said that he
What
saved.
about the GDP?
So the GDP was terrible, and so was the Gini coefficient. If you don't know what the Gini coefficient is, it's a measure used to see how you expanded what's called income inequality. If you hit it's from 0 to 1. If you get closer to 1 or anything above 1, you did disastrous. He did 1.25, the worst ever. Sorry, Felice, go ahead.
I was just going to say that from 1980, right, whenever we started hearing Reagan, who, by the way, had Alzheimer's, say, it's all going to trickle
So did
down.
Biden.
Just don't. No, he didn't. That's factually incorrect. Alzheimer's can only be diagnosed after death. And if you knew that, then
Bullshit.
you would.
Don't say that.
No, that's a medical fact. Your lack of knowledge about medicine does not make what I stated any less true. Alzheimer's
I'm
can
proud
only
that
be
you're
confirmed
very
after death.
educated.
Okay,
Continue.
anyways, I'm sorry that you don't know anything about Alzheimer's, but again, it can only be confirmed after death.
Why are you attacking me?
I'm not attacking you. I'm telling you that you're factually incorrect.
Tap
I
screens.
said Ronald Reagan had
continue?
also.
Can you
Hold on,
continue?
let me.
Can
help
you
I
stop?
said Ronald Reagan had Alzheimer's, and you said so did Biden. Like you had done something, and I was explaining to you that is not true. You are not a
he does have
neurologist,
Alzheimer's.
and Alzheimer's can only be confirmed. Now you can suspect, right, that neuron receptors are being eroded. Like that there's stuff that are stopping like neurons from firing and then from receiving those fires. But you don't know until actually you are autopsied, right? You can have dementia. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. When Ronald Reagan started talking about trickle-down economics, and the theory was, if we just don't tax the rich, forget the progressive tax system, just don't tax the rich, and and corporations, and it will all trickle down. What we know, and I'm quoting the Rand Corporation, right, a think tank, from 1980 to 2022, $50 trillion has trickled up, not down. You're wrong. You can
Thank
look
you.
from president to
Thank you.
president and see the transfers of wealth happen to the top of the economy.
Thank you.
There is no such thing as trickle down economics. Since
Right.
that idea became something that people believed, temporarily embarrassed millionaires believed, yeah, and then when I get up at the top, I won't pay taxes. The only thing we know is that wealth is trickling on up. And the main reason, why it's staying up there is capital gains taxes. As long as it's cheaper to make money off money that's in the stock market and it's taxed at a lower rate than we're taxing income in the average middle class, then the money will never trickle back down.
Yeah, and Andrew, I'll give you one example of a loophole they used, right? So during the first Trump administration, these corporations bought back $880 billion of their own stock, right? That's not liquid. That doesn't turn into salaries or wages and things. And they just held it because they're selfish. And guess where that $880 billion wasn't going towards? The average American worker and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why trickle down doesn't work. You give them loopholes in the tax system and they abuse the shit out of it. And that's almost $1 trillion that didn't go back down to hardworking Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
That's
from
why we have to incentivize people
I'm
in
from Serbia.
capitalism to do the
Okay.
right thing. Right? Like we have to incentivize corporations and billionaires to do the right thing. We have to close tax loopholes. We have to stop stock buybacks. That's
Chris,
why
what
we
did
have
you
to
wanna
stop capitalist monopolies from forming. You don't need to yell for me because he doesn't
didn't yell.
listen.
I'm not yelling.
No, I'm not talking to you. I was talking to Chris. I think he was going to defend me again. It's okay. It's okay if he ignores me. That's fine. I'm okay.
I gotcha. Okay.
I'm calm. Yeah, you know what I mean? If every time some man was disrespectful to me or pretended I wasn't speaking, we had to stop the live. We would just be doing that for the rest of the lives. We'd
It's
never
all good.
do
Keep going.
anything else.
That's fair. Keep going, guys. Tap the screen, share the live, please. Love you guys. Go ahead.
Do tap the screen. Everyone, we're
Chris,
almost to
what did you wanna
100K. Everyone, you do 100 taps right
Chris,
now.
you wanted to ask something about Serbia. What was that?
No, it's okay. I'm good. Let's just stay within the
Just ask
country.
it, please. I'm really curious.
No, you live here, and so do I. I'm here to talk about my government here.
Can I ask something about you becoming a citizen? Because I'm
Sure.
curious. Like, I think you feel that you owe something to Donald Trump because you came here when he was president.
Nope.
Well,
No.
that's what you said. You came in 2017. Those were your words, unless
But
they
I
were a
didn't
lie.
say. But I didn't say that.
You
Trump
told
was-
me that you came here in 2017.
But I didn't say that. That I. owe
Okay,
him
sorry. I apologize. It was implied. I thought that's why you liked him. You said that he helped you.
I think
You
the
said
United
during the
States owes
Trump
us something.
administration, I got to come here. So I thought you were saying I credit Donald Trump with that.
Well, I believe the United States owns us something. I believe the United States should withdraw their military base from Kosovo and let us take
you're
back
right.
control over our territories.
Hey, I'm with you on that. You know what's
I-
funny? You have a problem with communists, but those are the people that would definitely say that America needs to demilitarize, reduce
my
the
family are
size of our
communists.
military. Well,
My
no,
family are
no,
Yugoslav
hold on.
communists.
You don't understand what communism is. So
I
what
do.
hold
My
on. Let me
parents are
and listen.
communists.
I need you to not interrupt and listen to me. Your parents aren't communists.
They are.
No, they're not.
Titoist. They're Titoist.
Okay, so you're telling, are they living in the middle of the woods where they don't recognize a
We live
country?
there.
They
We
don't
live
use
there.
they
We
don't
live-
use money.
We live there.
Okay, so you're telling me your parents live in a stateless, classless, moneyless
Moneyless.
society? Because I'm
Yugoslavia was
saying
a
this because
communist country.
country. I just need you to understand that if your parents fundamentally recognize the borders of a country, they are not communist. If your parents are using currency to survive, they are not communist.
They are members of the Communist
Let me just
Party.
say why I'm saying this. Okay, thank you. Perfect example. Let me correct you. So just like there's the Chinese Communist Party, right? Xi Jinping's like, look over here, I'm a communist. Just because the word is used doesn't mean Xi Jinping is a capitalist authoritarian. Just because there's a political party that says, look, we're communist, does not make them communist. I've been to one communist society in my life. It was deep in the Amazon. It was people who've never had contact with the outside world. That is a stateless, moneyless, classless, communal, indigenous society living that way and allowing some people to do ayahuasca there.
But Felice, what if I
Praise the
told you that
Lord.
my parents
So again, my point is
fought the
just,
Nazis and
I
World
just
War
want to
II?
say, like, I want to make this really clear because it's the best. I used to work in advertising, and this is one of the best PR advertising jobs of all time. Capitalists in Western civilization wanted to demonize socialism and communism because Marxism, which is, Karl Marx was a philosopher, right? It spread faster than Christianity, right? People were like, oh, I should have equity as a worker. I shouldn't be a slave laborer that hands the surplus to my corporate overlords. That started making sense. And they're like, we've got to kill these ideas. So they started making communism synonymous with authoritarianism, with totalitarianism. Those exist on the right side of the spectrum, right? Communism is 100% voluntary. It's about the exchange of goods and services outside of countries, class, or currency. That's what communal living is. Nothing that's going on when some authoritarian dictator is like, we're communists. That's not communism. That's just some asshole abusing people.
So you're saying, so with your logic, if I'm from Kansas and I live in the middle of the nowhere in a fucking trailer with a few people, and we have no money, we have nothing, are we communists? Is that your logic?
Yeah, well, let me just, you can be in a commune, yeah, like a society where you are exchanging goods and services outside of currency. And you don't real communists, right, don't recognize states, which when I say state, I mean government. They don't recognize borders. It's completely voluntary. It's stateless. It's moneyless. It's classless. It's the exchange of goods and services outside of currency, and setting up a society that's completely voluntary in which you essentially help each other succeed. I could give you more examples if you want.
So if I live in California like a hippie, am I communist?
You quite literally
You
just said
understand the
California.
definition I gave you? I think like you.
I love California.
Okay.
No, it's just you quoted a state. So every time you quote something, you bury your argument. Like, stop saying place with border.
Okay.
I went to university in Idaho, and there are people that live in the middle of the woods in Idaho in communes outside. They don't recognize the U.S. government. They don't pay taxes. They are living in a communal society
So they're
with
communists.
exchanges of goods and services. Do you understand the definition? Stateless, moneyless,
but they might not
classless.
identify with communism. With your logic,
Communal
is an orphan a communist?
living.
An orphan or is a
Either
communist?
No, okay, now you
just don't get it. I can't help you if you don't understand.
It's fine because he already buried his own argument of trying to accuse Biden of being a communist when all you've
I
done
didn't say
is
he's a communist.
yeah. Anyway, so
Listen, you can't work for the United States government and be a communist. You don't.
Yeah.
You cannot recognize the existence of states, of governments, of
Bernie
countries.
Sanders works for the government.
Andrew.
Yeah,
oh my
and he's
gosh.
also not a communist.
He absolutely is.
How
Andrew,
when he
what
worked for
wait, just let me speak.
Go ahead.
Andrew, he isn't. What you mean to say is, I feel like Bernie Sanders is what you believe the definition of a communist is. And what I'm trying to tell you is, you don't know what a communist is. You don't know what communal living is. Bernie Sanders is a social democrat. And I'm guessing you have no idea what socialism is either.
I do.
What is it?
Sorry, what did you say?
What is socialism?
Socialism is well, it's pretty complicated. So
No, it's not.
it is complicated.
It's not.
It is complicated because English is not my first language, first of all. So let me explain
You
myself.
speak English beautifully. Stop.
No, I don't. Serbian is my main, is my first language.
You barely have an accent. Stop.
Me.
Didn't have that flag up, we wouldn't even know. Just stop. Now all of a sudden you don't speak English when you don't know the definition of socialism. Your command of the English language is
That's
amazing.
a compliment. That's a
It
compliment.
is. It is.
So,
Can you define it?
communism occurs after socialism. So,
Oh, that's what
must
MAGA
unite-
people say. That's not true.
no,
What
no,
is
no, Marx.
Just
Karl
say
Marx said. I
what
read
is-
Marx. I read Marx.
Where
Marx
did Marx
said it.
say that?
Marx
can you give me a
said
page?
in the pages.
Communist.
Just
Come on,
don't-
Communist Manifesto.
I don't know. I don't know the title.
Yeah,
how to
what Marx
pronounce
said
it.
was
Translate it
Marx's
'cause it's in
point. Can I
Serbian.
just make Marx's point? Because I've actually read most of Marx's writings. What Marx was
sure.
saying was that communism is. He was fascinated by Eastern religion, like Buddhism. Like when you work really hard at something, when you self-actualize, communism was what he was saying was a dream. Like if we become this functional society where people respect each other, where we create equity, equality, freedom, then essentially we would evolve into, like he was very fascinated with Buddhism, which is when you evolve and become a high enough being, you reach nirvana. And that's what he
define-
was saying. So he's not saying like, hey, if you're socialist enough, you become a communist. He's saying, hey, communism is a dream, or it's highly unattainable because it's hard to do, right? Like, the ideals of communism mean you have to come from a morally, ethically, logically pure place. And that's hard when narcissism is pervasive in Western civilization.
Can I define socialism?
Yes.
So socialism is a system where there is wealth distribution, the means of production are owned by the people, and
You explain what that means and not just read, but what does that mean?
what means
You
what?
know what I mean? I know you're reading that, but like, what does
I'm
it
not
mean
reading
to
it.
you? What does it mean when you say the means of production or
The means of production, for example,
What does
like,
that mean? Give
Like
me
if
an
I work
example.
if I work in a factory, and the all the I guess the factory is owned by the workers. How to explain it in simple terms? I'm not reading it. I'm not reading it.
Well, then explain to give me an
I'm on my
example of a
bed.
socialist company.
What?
Yeah,
A socialist
that's
company.
what you're trying to. When you say the means
the
of production,
ownership-
when you say the
the-
means of production are owned by the people, just give
The
me an
ownership,
example.
the ownership of the company is owned by the people. That's what it is. Like in the Communist Party, you have the general secretary, you have the assistant. Yeah, you do.
No,
Yeah, you do.
classless. There's no hierarchy in communism. That's what you believe.
Search the Soviet
Wrong already.
Communist Party.
Listen, you have no idea what communism is. You should not speak about it. Communism does not involve politics. It's classless.
You can search
It's
it up
stateless.
yourself.
It's classless. No,
Please.
you're talking about a political party in the country that you hail from that uses the word communism in their name. That has nothing to do with a
But search
communal
up
society.
the Soviet part, the Communist Party of the Soviet
Again,
Union.
okay, so let me help you. That's a political party inside of a country. Communism does not acknowledge that countries exist. There are no borders. There are no classes. There are no currency. So what you're describing is a country that has a political party inside it that used the word communism in their name.
Rubbish.
No, those are,
Sranje.
I'm sorry that you
Sranje.
don't agree with me, but those are the facts.
Sranje.
Okay.
Okay, that's a
sorry.
Serbian. Sorry, that means not true in Serbian.
I used to date a Serbian guy named Dragan.
Dragon, not dragon.
I did.
Dragan.
He was kind of annoying.
He was kind of annoying.
Yeah, he was hot though.
I know. In Serbia, at least we love our women, unlike the Americans.
Wait, Donald Trump? You think Donald Trump loves women?
No, he loves his like strippers, prostitutes.
Okay, hey, don't say those words. You're gonna give me take. Okay,
Fine,
Can we-
that's fine. Sex works fine.
Well, no, I'm just saying because the algorithm sucks. Like, I don't care about that. I'm just talking about. So, let's move along here because clearly communism's not involved in our government whatsoever. So, can you now give me another reason why you voted for Trump? Let's move this along.
Well, first of all, Trump wants to cut funding towards, I guess, international organizations funding
Foreign aid, yeah.
Republika
It's horrible.
Srpska and Kosovo i Metohija, and I support it
Okay.
because I believe if the Serbian army gains more power, we can invade and take our land back.
Hold on, Andrew, 1 second. You're a very fringe population voting on something that you moved here. And secondly, okay, so he's adding $1 trillion to the defense budget. Where foreign aid is housed at. Is that good for Americans? You're an American, dog.
I don't identify as an American because America.
Are you a citizen? Are you wait?
Yes.
So let's go ahead and run this scenario. You're against imperialists, but you moved here.
Yep, opportunities.
I don't know.
Be
if that-
against imperialism and live here. I am. I think they're not mutually exclusive. I support
too.
that. Okay, because I thought you were saying if you moved here, you had to support imperialism.
I mean,
You
ideally
don't-
you should, because you.
no, but
you-
I mean, people live. I think Andrew's in the right neighborhood. Like, you move here because you need
Listen.
upward mobility in society. You don't have to agree with America or the atrocities we've committed
Yeah.
around the world or anything else. Like, you
Listen.
can move here because of economic opportunity.
when I got my citizenship, I had to swear myself in. I had to raise my right hand, but I didn't. I refused. I didn't
Okay.
swear in. I said I will protect Serbia from American nationalists and protect my land from those who seek to destroy us.
Okay. So, I mean,
You said
what-
that in English to the
Yeah.
to the people when
Yep,
you were
I did
becoming a
to the-
citizen.
Yep, I did.
Okay,
Well,
that's-
there were many people around us doing the same thing.
so you were like kind of just saying.
Through my attorney, I said it basically.
Okay, I got you.
so let's
Did you
go.
hear that, Trump? Watch out. Maybe don't say that because they're looking to take people's citizenship back.
No, he won't. He won't take me because I don't look like I'm a traitor. I look like a real patriot.
I mean, a white man?
Yeah.
According to them, yeah. They're racist, of course.
Okay, so I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on the same. I agree with you, Andrew. My brother's name's Andrew, by the way.
My name's not Andrew, like it's in the Serbian way. It's Andrew,
Say
but
it.
in Serbian.
So
Well, say it.
Andreas.
Okay, even better.
So let's go ahead and talk about, fine, we're going to go ahead and play this game. I just had to go ahead and take a look at, the economic documents before I started. So why are you supporting somebody that's destroying your economy? You do realize that he did put a tariff rate on the Balkans at 37%. And you know why that's...
In Serbia,
you know,
it's 74, I think.
Can I
think
finish?
74.
Okay, can I finish? Can I finish real quick? Either way, even if I grant you that part, that actually works at my point because he tariffed the Balkans the highest out of the European Union, and you support that?
Of the EU.
So I was doing a comparison to quite literally. So the EU,
Germany
Just means
Balkan.
the European continent.
yeah. So Europe,
Right.
like he slammed so many tariffs on you guys compared to the people around you. I don't know why you would support that.
I don't.
Well, you said Trump was pro-Serbia, and I'm just getting this
He
party.
is. He is
Well,
kind of.
by destroying your economy.
More than Biden. More than Biden. I mean,
Biden's not in office. So hold on. You voted for him, right? And first of all, I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit more, right? Because I'm down to play ball with whatever government because I'm going to make you look silly up here. Is there any evidence that Trump's lifting the sanctions? And I need hard ass evidence.
No.
Okay, so he's destroying your economy. He's keeping the sanctions. What
He
is
isn't
going
destroying it. He isn't.
with tariffs? Yeah. Do you know how tariffs
No,
work?
I mean, Serbia exports mainly guns to America. That's where America. That's basically the
That-
only thing we trade with, and maybe some
Okay.
grains, but that's it.
If so, you're telling me grains and GUNs. If I look this up right now, you're going to be lying to me. All right, cool. Let's go to the ITA. Okay, what does the U.S. and Serbia and the minute it's more than just that, then you just conceded that Trump is ruining your economy.
Rubber tires is the number one, 121
What?
million. Yeah, 20 here's
What
top
do they
exports.
export?
I'm helping you. I'm helping you learn about your country, Andreas. Just listen. In
Go
2024,
ahead, pronounce my
Serbia's
name.
top Andreas. In 2024, Serbia's top export. It's not as cool as Dragon, but I'll allow it. In 2024, Serbia's top exports to the U.S. were rubber tires, 121 million, mattresses, cool, 51 million, and there you were explosive ammunition. I think I can say that. 48.4 million. Other significant exports include machinery, 132 million, electrical equipment, 109.52 million. And then in 2023, there was more clothing, furniture, and food processing, which for some reason fell off. Oh, frozen fruit and nuts.
So
I think automobiles, Fiat is made in Serbia and exported to the U.S. I used to work in advertising for Fiat. Cool.
Andrew,
brand.
how are you going to make a claim about trading and you don't even know what we trade with each other? That's crazy.
I said armed weapons. I said guns.
Did
But
get
Yeah, that
that
was
explosive
partially right.
ammunition.
I was partially
yes,
right.
You were.
Yeah, but you said there was only two things, that and grains, and you left out
I
everything
mean,
else. So
from the top of my head, I thought that was the only thing that they traded me.
So now that we've established that Trump's tariffs, right, is ruining your guys' economy, I don't know
There-
how that.
nope.
Okay, cool.
It's
So
not.
So do you know how? Can you tell me what a tariff is? Can you
Yeah.
because
Tariff
you've been
is a-
yeah, go ahead.
The tariff is a tax imposed on a good or service
Okay.
produced by another nation.
Imported, so it's a tax levy. You got that 80% right. It's a tax levied on an imported goods, right? Because
Levied. I didn't say levied.
no, okay. So you said something complete. So because under your definition, we also tax on exports. That doesn't happen. So now let's go to Serbia, right? So with that being said, right, Serbia, right? So using the simplistic calculation of the reciprocal tariffs, you guys are getting slammed because of the retaliatory tariffs that we impose on you guys. Now, let me ask you a question. Who pays the tariff at the end of the day?
Depends the person who imports or exports. Who's
No, just both, because this actually works both ways.
the person who imports products from America. The Serb pays the tariff, pays for it, but if someone from America pays for products from Serbia, they pay it.
Okay,
That's
beautiful. So you just demonstrated what's called price pass-through. So let's finish it, right? Serbia, you get slammed with the highest rates out of the European continent, the Balkans, right? At the port, they have to...
They hate us.
Can I? Okay. They passed the... Well, I mean, you just demonstrated that Trump hates Serbia, which defeats your point. Thank you so much. So...
Not as much as Biden.
Okay, well, guess who didn't run for president? Okay, cool. So price pass through. It goes to the port, then it gets passed to the wholesaler. Wholesaler passes a price increase to the business. Business price passes it on to the consumer. It can pass it on numerous ways, right? It can pass it on by having higher input cost and leaning up operations, which globally the trend is they tend to shave things off the balance sheet in the payroll section where people's jobs are housed. If they don't want to do that, they just hike the price up. And guess who ends up at pays at the end of the day? It's the consumer.
Here's
go.
my concern for you, Andreas. Now that I feel like we're all bonding up here, this is my concern. I think that Trump, the reason you should keep an eye on Trump, if I was you and I had your loyalties and concerns and love for Serbia, is that he's trying to help Putin put back together the USSR.
We support Putin. We support him. The Serbs support him.
He wants
He's
to
our
steer.
ally.
Okay, I have many Serbian friends who have immigrated to the U.S. that certainly don't feel that way.
Because they're traitors. They're not.
According to who?
Serbians.
Okay, so you're an extremist in Serbia who
No,
wants the
90% of
USSR
us
to be
support
pieced
Putin.
back. No, they don't.
Yes,
Stop.
they do.
You're telling me that 90% of Serbs
Yes, they do.
want to rejoin the USSR.
I'm going to look this up.
No, let me.
That is
let me explain
not
myself.
true. Stop.
Russia supported us during the wars, and we and Russia have so much in common.
Do
Religion,
you want to be
traditions.
annexed and be part of
We don't.
Russia?
We're not going to be annexed. That's not the point. I'm saying allies. We're allies.
Well, that's what Putin wants.
no,
Yeah,
he
Putin's-
doesn't. He wants to annex Moldova, not Serbia.
Yes, he does. He wants
No,
to
he
put the
doesn't.
USSR back together.
No, he doesn't, Felice. No.
Can I give you
You're
a
telling me he's going to annex every tiny country around you, and
Felice.
Serbia, you guys just get to stay
He's
as you
not
are?
going to annex.
Okay.
It's
Just
not
making
even
sure I
his plan.
understand. And I do have many Serbian, like I said, I did date a Serbian. That's who are refugees and who do not feel anywhere near like you feel. Nobody wants to be
Are they atheists?
reintegrated
Are they
into the
atheists?
USSR.
We're-
Are any Serbians atheists? You guys are all extremely religion. They're Russian Orthodox.
I mean,
Also-
90% of us are Christian, actually.
And-
Yeah,
Andrew-
Russian Orthodox is Christian.
We're not Russian. We're Serbian Orthodox.
Whatever, same thing.
Andrew, so I've just got a survey from your own people that says that a minority statistically have a positive view of people. So this one's going to sting them.
No,
Hey, so
no,
Andrew,
no.
can I read the source really quick? Don't here's the thing. You get to do anecdotals, but the minute I start bringing evidence, you very disrespectfully cut me
You
off.
feel like Andrew. You
So-
like Putin, is what you mean to
So
say.
Pew Research Institute, this was done in 2024 using intergovernmental surveys, citizens sent cell phone surveys, also at local post offices and coming from the government, right? 45.6% of Serbians actually have a positive view of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, before I go to what I'm about to say next, which one's higher, 45.6 or 90?
Well, no.
Your source is
Okay, okay,
bullshit.
okay. So
Really,
just let.
you're
So can
salty.
I? Okay, then I'm just gonna finish. Okay, well, I'm sorry that the Serbian people's view is bullshit. Sorry
Can I
about that.
show you my
So,
sources?
can
Which source is it? Which one?
okay?
But
Can
let
I?
him finish. He's trying to show you, and you won't let him say the
I will-
words.
He's
Just
saying
don't
he
get
wants
the
to
words
annex
out.
us.
You gotta
I
let
was-
him say the words, Andreas, and then you can be like, "Oh, my aunt says different."
Okay, so the other, right, and I'm going to read you the citation again because I said it in the very beginning. So, other than the 45.6, a majority actually has a positive view of Hungary's Viktor Orban, if I said that right. So, this.
Scary.
Yeah. So this is actually coming from numerous sources, right? Pew Research Institute, and then the methods that were used, right, was from the government via cell phone survey, mail, post office. Then you have Serbian external relations, right? And this survey was done in the same way. In fact, this is in Serbian. I can't read this, but luckily they have the English translation. This most recent one was done on April 1st. So this is actually very new data. And still, people that actually, so this survey you can actually get in PDF form, and it was actually conducted by somebody in your government. And
Give us the numbers.
Yeah, no. So the Pew 45.6 actually look at Vladimir Putin higher, and then the other one from the Serbian government was 44.5. That actually, so that still puts them in a month.
And again, what is it? It's that people that approve or disapprove of Putin. I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Only 45.6 and 44% approve of Vladimir Putin.
Can I show you my
So the
source?
majority of the country does not approve of. Yes, go ahead.
I thought you meant
Yes.
to say. Sorry, I confused myself. I thought you meant to say, do we view Russia as an ally, not Putin?
Well,
Most of
Putin
us view Russia
Well,
as,
he's
as
running.
an ally.
He is Russia.
What,
right.
so Putin's he's in charge. Let's just take this one step at a time, right? Let's just build an argument here. Putin's in charge of what country?
Russia, but this has nothing to do with him. Russia itself is not Putin. That's my
Gotta
point.
be, well, at one point, but now you can't. If you disagree with Putin, if you speak ill of him, you disappear. You understand that, right? Like you're
That's
not allowed
bullshit.
to even.
In Serbia, no, that's not true.
Oh,
talking
I'm not
about-
saying in Serbia.
Oh, in Russia.
I'm saying in Russia. You're saying Putin is not Russia. I'm saying I wish that was true. I wish you could have separate views, not support Putin and survive. That's just not the case there. You're not allowed to vote against him or you disappear.
Yeah.
I can't
You
speak
can't
on that.
support oppositional. Oh, I'm scared to speak.
Well,
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
And
Well,
do you know
I
what
like to
he's? And do you know what he's done to churches in Russia? Actually, never mind. I'm just gonna let you respond. Go ahead.
listen. So the reason
You're
why
religious. You must know what. he's
the
done to-
reason why the majority of us support Viktor Orban is because, first of all, Viktor Orban basically in 1914, the Serbs, they were being massacred by the Hungarian slash Austrians, and a Serbian martyr called Gavrilo Princip, he killed the leader, and that started World War One. And Orban, I guess he doesn't align with Austrian-Hungary imperialist views.
I mean, the shot heard round the world. Is that what you're referring to? That has nothing to do with Orban. You're talking about World War One. What does that have to do with
That's
Orban?
why we.
Orban is a
Listen,
man
Can you
who
let me
is.
speak? Let me speak.
Yeah, but the start of World War One has nothing to do with Viktor Orban.
Yes, it does. It correlates. Listen, so the Serbs who I guess fought and defeated the Hungarians, they did not have a good relationship with Hungary until I guess when Orban was elected, because Orban, his stance on politics is he doesn't view Ferdinand as a creator of Austrian-Hungary. He doesn't view them as a hero, and that's why he's an ally with Serbia, basically.
Okay, that doesn't even make sense. I mean, you're saying that you feel that's how Viktor Orban feels.
That's not how
mean,
I feel. His party says so as well.
Okay, again, let me just help you. Viktor Orban is a war criminal who also has committed
war?
human
What war?
atrocities, has disappeared people in the
What
middle of
war?
the night. You are not allowed to, you are discriminated against if you have melanin, if you are a woman,
war?
if you
What
are
war?
Can you stop?
LGBTQIA. I'm talking about human rights abuses. The International Criminal Court accuses.
I agree with you. But
So
listen,
sorry, I didn't mean to say war criminal. I mean to say international criminal courts want him for human rights abuses, right? So I think because maybe you're a white, straight, religious male, like it
Listen,
works out to support Viktor Orban, but he's a person that is persecuting people left and right.
All right, can I respond?
Yeah.
Well,
I
listen.
mean,
Your assumption is that we are a religious, very right wing. Listen, I'm a member in Serbia. Most of us are a member of the Serbian Progressive Party, which the leader is actually a homosexual woman called Ana Brnabić.
Amazing.
I'm being serious.
I love
being
that
serious.
for you. Okay, well then let me help you. Viktor Orban unalives homosexual women in Hungary. So for you to say that you're the leader of your political party is a homosexual woman, and then in the next breath say, I support a man who is disappearing the LGBTQIA, particularly women, inside Hungary it seems counterintuitive. But I do think we have to get back on track because we're kind of like in the weeds, right?
Yeah, because I want to go back to where we live at, honestly, to be honest with you. Like, I live in Texas, I want to get back to the U.S. of A. But, what else? Can we, in regards to America, why else you vote for Trump?
His stance on, I guess, his proposed plan on reducing the taxes.
Okay, so you do realize that the U.S. has, let's just, you know what, I'm not going to slam you with the bill because it's 389 pages, but let's think about this logically, very basic stuff, right? Would you agree that the U.S. has a spending problem?
Yeah, sure, but depends on what.
Okay, so no issue, right? So his tax bill doesn't actually solve the spending problem because if we spend more than we bring in, we're always going to just have these massive hits to the deficit. In fact, right, we're going to spend even more, like $1 trillion on the DoD. Let's start there before we go through all the line items, right? Do you think, so last time that we had the defense budget valued, it was valued at $1.12 trillion. Do we really need, and that's more than the next 10 militaries combined. Do we need to put more money into the DoD if it means like slamming the economy?
Can I respond to that?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to, please.
So you said we have a spending problem. Isn't
Can
Trump
you-
proposing the big beautiful bill which actually cuts spending?
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't actually, and I didn't want to slam you with it because what I'm going to say is so complex you wouldn't understand. Because
we don't have to say something complex I thought we talked about this. Maybe it was the person before.
Yeah.
We are going. The low estimate is 3.3 trillion. We're going to explode the deficit. The higher estimate is 5.5. We will go into debt. We are saving no money. There's been no savings. I can tell you that we are on pace, right? Like this time last year, like when Biden was president, we've spent, what is it? We're on 89 billion more. We have the federal government is on track to spend, I think even this year, we have spent considerably more. We've saved not a dime. So there is I think you went to look something up and it's true. Trump always spends more. We're not saving any money.
So, like, with that being said, within the first 100 days, we spent $220 billion, which was more than any time in the past 10 years. So then in comes this bill, right? That's also going to increase spending. And then let's go ahead and go to Doge because they got some explaining to do, right? Because what they did is crazy because they ended up not doing things good for the American people. Former Secretary of Labor, right, finally spills the beans on Doge. Right, they're only going to be able, when you account for the dollar amount that it took to actually implement, $25 billion at the end of the day. That is like peanuts, right? And the current Secretary of Labor is trying to argue, right, that 1.3 billion over 10 years is better than the 2 trillion that was promised over 4. We're talking about so even Elon Musk said that the 2 trillion is no longer possible. So right now, 1.3 billion over 10 years is like a drop in the bucket. And we spent money implementing Doge.
Here, I found this is a CBS art. Despite Trump's promised cuts, U.S. spent more than 200 billion, or U.S. spent more than 200 billion more. That's a weird way to word that. So we've spent 200 billion more in the first 100 days than last year.
Yeah.
200 billion.
And yeah, that's
Because of Ukraine, we're donating to Ukraine.
No, well, no. Trump cut that money off. You
Yeah,
don't know
so-
that?
No, he
No, he cut it off.
negotiated in a deal. I think in a mineral deal or something.
They
like that.
paused. No.
That got paused, dog.
Yeah,
Where
and
have
the
you been?
mineral deal was the opposite. That would have been Trump trying to steal from Ukraine, which, if you're from Eastern Europe, you should not support Trump trying to leverage and steal the minerals out from under indigenous Eastern Europeans.
We don't like Ukrainians.
Okay.
Serbs don't like
Okay,
Ukrainians.
what you need to say is, I feel like I
Right.
don't like Ukrainians. Like, you are talking about your feelings, not facts. So again, your point was that somehow that bill was saving money. It's not.
Right. So-
If you're a fiscal conservative, if you want to be logically consistent, then you cannot support Donald Trump. This is a common theme for him. He spends and spends and spends, says money's coming in, and it's not.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, $4.5 trillion. Whew. To the deficit. Wow, it's almost like he's picking right back off. He's going off the same ideology that got him in trouble his first term. Also, Z-Pack said, tell Felice I said hello.
Love you, miss you.
Guys, tap the screen, guys. Do not.
Can I ask you something? Can the woman Vishnya, can she stop attacking me? If you scroll up, she's...
Okay,
she
Andrew,
typed
I'm up here.
Serb.
I'm up here.
She's typing Serb and then putting the devil emoji next to it.
Do you have anything else?
Vesnja, whatever.
Do you have anything? Andrew, we're both up here. Do you have anything else?
So
Someone's being mean to
I
you
think
in
we
the
should support-
comments. So what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Quick commercial break.
I said, sir, Andrew, you're a disaster. You're disgusting. You're a terrible person. I think that you need to go back to Mar-a-Lago, possibly Margarita. But we love that. We do love that for you. It's unbelievable what you're doing. And are you doing it with Melania as well? Because that's kind of disturbing. She probably would do it too. But it's a shame. It's a real shame. Wow.
Good to
You
see. Also,
corrupt.
also, that live at 2 a.m. Z-Pack was crazy. I can't believe I was awake watching that. That was wild.
What happened? Anything I should know about?
Oh no, it's just some mindless mangas making extremely astronomically incorrect claims. It was just nothing worth. I just happened to be up at the time and partook of it, but there was fireworks
Yeah, I
going on.
joined because I and this is risky because I could get a call and I'll have to dip. But if like it was about like inherent racism and how I was saying that like I'm a white person, and I was in Tony's live, who, if you're familiar with Tony L. And they were basically just like dragging me through the mud, saying, "How could you possibly say this like about yourself? And you're making it dangerous for my community." And I was like, "How am I making it dangerous for your community by pointing out the fact that like I am privileged as a white person?" And MOD was in there too, so she was saying something along the lines of like, "Well, you just admitted you're a white supremacist," and I was like, "I did not. That's literally not what I said. I said that I'm inherently racist." And then I think Q-Dog came up. Oh, gotta go.
Love you, bro.
Sounds complicated. Love you too. Don't change for anyone. I just want to say this, because Trump recently claimed he's brought in 14 trillion in new investments, and this is the fact check on it. Trump's claimed that he has brought in 14 trillion in new investments to the U.S. from foreign countries, including 4 trillion from the Middle East trip alone. The White House press office did not respond to HuffPost's request for a full list of investments totaling 14 trillion, nor for the list of those making up 8 trillion when Trump was claiming that about 2 weeks ago. The website's Trump Effect page that tracks major investment announcements that were made possible by President Trump's leadership lists pages of figures, including 1.2 trillion from Qatar, 500 billion from Apple, 11 billion from Gilead Sciences, clear down to 6 million from, LGM Pharma. When totaled, they come to 3.9 trillion. Even if the 200 billion in new investment claimed from the Emirates visit is added to that, it still amounts to only 4.1 trillion, which, and by the way, I could debunk half those just listed, about 10 trillion short of Trump's claims. Trump just makes up random numbers of money that he's brought in. He says tariffs have brought in trillions of dollars. None of those numbers make any logical sense.
And you want to
know what is Gilead Sciences though? Someone just
also,
look that up.
Andrew, I can give you even within the first 90 days, because this, guys, if you haven't heard this news, this is recent, buckle up, because this is crazy. So Trump, absolutely, we lose the trade war in the first 90 days, but then this is the danger of having a non-regulation president. Do you know what Pfizer just did with China?
Yeah,
What did they just do with China?
they made the deal.
Yes, for their 3S Bio cancer drug that should be here, but now it's over there. Upfront payment of $1.25 billion with the potential for $4.8 billion in milestones and double-digit royalties to China if the drug is approved, and also Pfizer will make $100 million in equity. So good for China, good for that corporation. Pfizer, bad for the American people because that equity is going to get pocketed. But how does Trump play a role into things like this? We lost the trade war with China, but let's go in and pour it on. Just let these corporations continue to do these massive deals, and we lose out on technology and like things like that, you know? Because I've read a little bit about this 3S Bio cancer drug, SSG 707. I'm a little bit of a, tech venture capital biotech guy myself. I'm a day job. This is revolutionary technology that was made by Americans. I just want to point that out. Yeah. So that's what your president's doing,
He's your president as well. He's our president.
I never said that he wasn't, but according to the First Amendment, I can address grievances against my government. I do it every day. So,
And you're a Republican.
can you address what I just said? Sorry. So maybe this is my mic messed up, Andrew? Andres? However you say it.
No, you say my name.
Andreas.
Andreas. Okay, so is my mic messed up? I would love for you to. Sorry, I would love for you to respond for what I just said. Trump allowing these people to go take wonderful American technology and give it to China.
I guess we did lose the trade war, but
That's not what I. Yeah, but that's
Big time, especially the long-term one.
I mean, I guess it's unfair that they're gonna make $100 million. I guess it is, but that's capitalism.
But so every single, I mean, that's globalist capitalism that conservative Republicans created. So I do agree with you there. It's just every single reason you've said so far that you like Trump or voted for him because of, it's been factually untrue. So that's I'm still curious, why are you still so sure he's great at this?
I don't know.
That's fair. I respect that.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
No.
All right. Well, hope you have a good day, brother, and free Palestine from the river to the sea.
See you.
Woo! I learned a little bit about Serbia. I learned what's not true about Serbia compared
Concerned about his belief system.
to when he said 90%. I'm like 45.6. They don't.
I don't know what's happening.
Oh man, guys, do me a favor, guys. Give me up to 150K, guys. If you got some primetime educational and entertainment
let's
up.
do everyone just get to tap in. Carpal tunnel, here we come.
Oh snap! Mom has entered the chat. Got to be calm now.
Tap, tap, tap. Hi, Chris's mom. Nice to meet you.
She texted me and said, "Don't pop a blood vessel." I'm watching the door. I got you.
Working on it.
Hey, look, I got somebody teaching me how to control my emotions, guys. It's a skill. Guys, we have 350 people in here, guys. There's zero tax provisions on these taps, $0 and 0 cents, or if you use a different currency.
I'm tapping my other screen. That's what my arm's doing. I'm tapping this IO. Okay, everyone tap this screen. Let's get to under 50K, and then the arrow in the bottom right corner, tap on that, share the live with 5 people. If you don't have anyone to share it with, just push the copy link button. That counts as a share. It'll help us be found more. And if you are here, where's MAGA leftist? This could be the day he finally speaks to me. He comes in every chat I'm in and just says random things that make no sense, but it's still not worked up the courage. Someone send this live to MAGA leftist. This could be the day he has the courage to speak to me. Have you ever spoken to him?
No, but did you see that he clipped us though?
Did he?
Yeah, but he clipped us.
I've never looked at. He would love me to notice that that he clipped something I said. No, I have no idea who he is. I just know every live I'm on. Like, I don't take guests on my live, and yet he's still there talking.
Well, he clipped us. Well, if he tried to embarrass us, he actually clipped us at a very good part of our video because it was us going over that you shouldn't look at other people in the restroom. And he said he called that weird. I'm like, well, you buried.
Well, you shouldn't look at other people in the restroom. MAGA leftists don't. And if you can't do that successfully, just use your own bathroom at home. It's really simple. If you can't go in public restrooms and mind your own business, don't be in there. Like, MAGA, the weirdest people. And then trying to project on us that we care about people's genitals. I didn't spend $500 million running ads about trans people's genitals. You guys did. I don't even want to talk about it. I just think we should all have the same basic human rights. Everyone should go to the bathroom and look at the floor, wash their hands and leave. It's super simple. You can't harass anybody in any bathroom for any reason, or you're in trouble. That was always illegal. I didn't know he clipped us until you just said that. I just know that he is fascinated by me, and anywhere I am, he shows up. I'm sure he's going to show up because I'm saying this. But he will never come up here because he can't. Because every time I ask him why he won't speak to me on a live, he just has no answer.
And you know who was really weird about a few lives ago? That guy that kept like questioning your blackness. I'm like, what the hell? Do you remember that guy? I forgot what his name was.
Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago. God, that was a hot minute ago. Like, every day in American politics feels like 2 months. So, no, I cannot remember yesterday. I can't remember the beginning of yesterday. No, that's classic white supremacy arguments. Like, when it suits them, I'm not white, which is what I got every day growing up. You're not. Oh no, your dad's black. You're not white. You'll never be white. And then when it suits the other side of the argument, then they're making a blood quantum marker. Oh no, you look white. Like, when it suited them to say Kamala Harris wasn't black, she wasn't black. When it suits them to say she's not white, she's not white. You'll never win. There's no way to win with white supremacy.
Oh yeah, guys, do me a favor, let's get up to 150K, guys. The premise is Donald Trump sucks, like literally with everything. So come prove us wrong, please.
Do come prove us wrong.
What's the temperature where you're at?
I know, Jared. We all just use the bathroom and look at the ground. It's not that, and hold your breath too. Is my advice. Like, I don't want to be in Walmart bathrooms. No one should.
Houston, Texas, 100 degrees. Mashallah.
I know, it's 100 degrees here too today.
Oh,
it's
hell.
so hot.
Yeah.
It's going to be 103 on Thursday.
That's disrespectful.
But
right
we
there.
don't have your humidity. Houston is awful because of the humidity.
Oh, wait. So I thought that you guys also had humidity where you're at as well.
It's dry. We're in the Sonoran Desert.
That's right. I forgot.
I don't like humidity. My hair doesn't. Wouldn't have straight hair if there was humidity. It'd be frizzy and curly. 60 in Ohio, but you're still in Ohio.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, the humidity is not good for the light skinned hairs. That's why I put the hat on.
I know, it's so horrible. That's why I do have a hat on.
Yeah.
This is not a good enough straightening job.
Guys, tap the screen. It will help us get option arrows. So guys, share the live, fill up the little gift goal.
I'm gonna see if I don't follow. I wonder if I do follow MAGA Leftist. Maybe I can send.
He is obsessed with you.
Oh, I know. He was in my live yesterday. I was like, oh God, why are you here? I almost don't want to block him though, because it's adorable that he's stalking me.
Do you know who's stalking me? And she always looks at my stories like 3 different accounts. You know Trinity Austin? She's got like red hair, but she never replies
She was
stuff.
telling me to shut up. Yes, I do. I met her on Pickles Live once at the beginning of live. She's like, shut up, Felice.
Does she actually come up and like speak? Cause she
What?
never.
Yes.
Wow.
Once on Pickles, well, just you don't. Yeah, that's another person that follows me around, screams at me all the time. It's a
She's kind of
compliment.
mean though, because I was talking about
Oh,
what Trump was
super
doing
mean.
with the artifacts and the
I like
Smithsonian.
when people are mean to me, though.
I was talking about the
Like
artifact.
one of my favorite things is when like black women tell me to shut up. Is that a weird thing?
Kind of, but you know, I can understand why, because black women voted against their own interests. So you know, you got to go back and forth with that.
Oh no, I just mean black women in general.
Oh, okay. I mean, hey, it's up to you. I don't really find it that
true.
weird. Yeah.
No, it's not weird. I think I like people telling me to shut up, kind of, in a weird way.
Tap the screen, guys. I don't know what fetish that'd be classified under.
I know. I probably need therapy.
Not the worst problem. Not the worst problem. Actually, not a problem at all. You know.
No, that's like Joanna's like, shut up, please. I'm like, okay. I will.
I guess it's better than being called DEI hire mediocre black man and Zionist.
Is that what people? What was happening at that first guy that came up and he's like, what did he say? What? Chris is what? What was he saying about you? I can't even remember. He said you were mean. Oh no, awful. He said you were awful. How do you make people so mad? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm being stalked by like hundreds of MAGA men who say horrible. I mean, they just want me to not be on this earth any longer. Mostly.
Probably still the fallout from the UNF America tour.
Oh, is that what it is? Because like you're the nicest person. I don't know how anyone would think that about you.
It's all right, because when I turn this app off, you know, I'm living in the real world, right? So I don't know how people I don't know how people have been hosting lives about this for like 5 hours at a time. Like, y'all got to go. Like, y'all got to get some employment, or maybe like, I don't know, but
They
tap the
say
screen.
some people's employment, Chris. Just because you have a job that pays you extreme amounts of money doesn't mean. I mean, this is my employment.
Hold on. Let me go. Okay, that came out wrong. Let me layer this, right? You give people something that's productive, right? Like I watch you for news updates. That's productive, right? That's educational, that's productive. Hosting 5-hour drama lives like we're still in high school is not. So
I just think that we need to reserve our energy. Like if we're going to hold people accountable on the left, we need to save that energy for people, that there are people doing bad things, and those are the people we need to be canceling. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely, yeah.
Like, let's save our energy for the really scary people
Yeah.
we have over here.
Sorry, that came out wrong. I know that the people's receipts will always be better.
No, I
than
didn't mean
anything.
it like that. I wasn't
Yeah.
saying it like that. I know what you meant. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was just talking.
Yeah.
What's going on today?
Jeez, where's all the ops at? Guys, I know some. US said they know that they'll clip you. Stop. Well, guess what? Guys, you do realize when I'm not live, I'm not on I don't panel up anymore. I do this thing called workout. I was just
They'll clip you. Stop. But what is that? I don't even understand what that means. What does that mean?
screen recording, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I damn sure don't. Anyway, guys,
If
go ahead
your
and
life is to clip people and then like in weird ways so that you misunderstand the full argument, like that's ridiculous. And then all of this is recorded. Like this whole live will be posted on YouTube in its entirety with context. So like what I mean,
it says all the ops are in Spanish lives, huh? That's crazy.
or in Spanish. Am I confused? Wait, I don't know what that means. Am I missing some sort of... I love these Daisy Duck bows. I love those, especially when I don't have a hat on. Thank you for that bow. I love a bow.
That's adorable. That's an
I
adorable
know, I
gift.
do like adorable, especially when my hair is down.
How is Mr. Mittens doing today?
He's doing much better. My cat is having a hard time breathing.
Mm-hmm.
He has an infection. He's on antibiotics and he's okay, but the problem is he's really old. He's 19, so I have to.
Oh.
I know. That's why I'm like, I got to keep him alive. He's my longest relationship. He's my only proof that I can stay in a long-term relationship with a man. So if he dies, my streak is over.
What's the average life expectancy for a cat? I'm just curious.
Oh, he's pretty much lived it.
W.
Like, but there are cats that can live, like Maine Coon. Some house cats live to be older, but both. I've had 2 cats. Both lived. The first one lived to be like 21, and then some cats live to be 30. I hope my cat will. Yeah, like there's a cat. I can't remember. Whenever I'm scared Mittens is gonna die, I look up like what's the oldest living cat.
I think someone said 38, which is wow.
Yeah, there's cats like, but those are like probably bigger cats. But he's a mixed cat that, you know, and if they live inside, mixed breed cats that live inside can live a long time. I'm an excellent owner. Cats runs my life.
What's your opinion on Trump talks with Putin? It's going to be unproductive like the other few
No,
times.
he did. No, it already happened. He wasted like 2 hours on the phone. Like, what did he? I mean, here we go. Let the proclaim Trump after his Monday phone call with Vladimir Putin about beginning talks to end. I was reading this. Hold on. This guy makes like 3 points that I thought were good. Trump needs to address the obstacles standing in the way of a breakthrough agreement. Putin right now won't even accept a ceasefire. Like, I don't care. You can hang out with Putin, who's very clearly blackmailing you or has something very important on you that you don't want people to know, and you're in his pocket. But you've accomplished nothing. What are you doing? What happened to day one? Remember, can I just do there's certain things that I will say to Putin. I'll get him on the phone and I'll say something, and then I'll say something to Zelensky, and it's not working because Europe's going to back Zelensky. Zelensky, it turns out, doesn't need the U.S. as much as Trump previously thought. They're not going to back down. That's stupid. And now Trump's got to control an uncontrollable tyrant in Putin. What day is it now? We're like day 100 and something of. Is it day 1 and the war's not over? Trump has zero control over Vladimir Putin. He's letting him run roughshod over Ukraine, getting nothing in return, and he looks like a passive loser.
Yeah, he's getting dog walked by the Russian government. And getting used.
Trump has no idea how to negotiate a ceasefire, very clearly. Like, he has no experience doing this. He thought maybe Putin told him it would magically end. And what Putin meant was, once you get into power, I'm going to try to just run roughshod over Ukraine. And then Europe's not letting it happen, and Trump has a problem. Like, where were they supposed to meet? And then no one showed up. Was that Turkey? They were supposed to.
I believe in Istanbul.
Yeah, Istanbul, in Turkey, yeah. Like, they were supposed to all meet there. Zelensky was there and Putin didn't even come. And then Trump's, like, tried to make excuses and be like, well, I wasn't there. Just so embarrassing.
Crazy.
Show no evidence that he wants peace.
Tap the screen, guys.
800,000 dead and wounded. Russia has suffered approximately 800,000 dead and wounded, and in 3 years, its huge army hasn't even managed to conquer Donetsk. Yeah. That's a fail.
This war is going to keep going.
Oh, forever. He's never.
Very long time.
This is Putin's, like, last, like, swan song. If he has to retreat, what does he have? What was it all for? What were the 800,000 for? Like, he's never going to admit defeat. Trump's an idiot.
And the North Koreans that went out there and got destroyed. I was like, that's how you know that you're losing.
And Kursk, yeah. Would you have North Koreans fighting?
I'm like, ugh.
Just mailed there to be unalived? Cool.
Some of them are smart. Some of them just deserted because it's the first freedom they've seen, like, ever. I'm like, that's what I would have done. I don't care.
What time is it? Should we restart, or do you have to work anymore, or what are you doing?
No, my boss gave me a good amount of time off today because I worked till 3 a.m. last night. So I mean, I mean, if you want to restart, we can.
Salaried workers. I'm just saying we could. I mean,
Yeah, let's do it.